We are so happy this morning to welcome back Dr. Tifffany Ahlberg of Ahlberg Audiology up in Cleveland. And this morning, I think she's touched on a really great topic. We're going to talk a lot about hearing loss, but also about what happens when you regain that hearing, some of the common comments that you hear from your patients. So good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
You have said it with me before, and I've heard it just in my own walk around life, that when people do get those hearing devices, often they've been without their hearing for a number of years, right?
That is correct. I mean, people will wait different amounts of times before they do something about their hearing loss. So depending on how long their brain has been deprived of certain sounds, depends on how they are able to regain those sounds and feel normal about it.
So for some people, it's almost like a sensory overload. Is that fair to say?
Yes. It's my analogy that I use all the time is it's like going to bed at night and turning the lights off, and then someone walking into your room in the morning and flipping the light switch on, and it just seems way too bright at first. You get used to it, but at first it seems too bright.
Okay, so with your role then as an audiologist when that's happening, because I guess people come in, they're having the hard time hearing, so in the office they're fitted with a device, right?
Yes.
And they can begin to hear what that improved hearing is going to be like.
Yes, and so we have a prescription setting that we need to be at, and oftentimes we'll have to turn that down 30%, 20%, I mean sometimes 40%, and gradually turn that up over time so that their brain is able to accept those sounds.
So you were sharing with me that there are certain sounds that we tend to lose first. You refer to them as the tinny sounds.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So there are low frequency sounds, which are your bass vibration type of sounds, and then on the other end of the spectrum you have high frequency sounds, which are tinny sounds, metallic sounds. You can think of those sounds like a doorbell or a phone ringing or a fork on a plate, those kinds of sounds. And so those are the sounds that we tend to lose first because of the arrangement of the cochlea and how sounds enter the cochlea. Those sounds are damaged before the bass tones.
Okay, so does that mean then when you are, I would think about getting a hearing device that the first thing I'm going to get to do is enjoy conversation more easily. But you have to start with those tinny sounds and get those manageable before you can get to the others?
So if you think about speech sounds, if you put your hand on your throat and you feel a vibration, those are going to be your bass tones. So they have a vibration to them, like your vowels, O, A, E, A.
Okay,
now,
you do feel it.
90% of the cases, those sounds are maintained longer than those tinny sounds, which will be your consonant sounds like your S's and your CH's and your T's and your K's.
Okay.
So it's kind of like playing Wheel of Fortune with a lot of vowels and missing consonants.
Okay.
So you're constantly trying to fill in the blanks.
This is before you get your hearing improved.
Exactly. So did they say shake or did they say state?
Okay.
Yeah, or you know that, and so you're constantly filling in the blanks, and so by bringing those tinny sounds or those high frequency or those metallic sounds up, then now you're able to hear S's and CH's and T's and K's.
Gotcha. So back to the beginning of the conversation when I said people will wait for years. That really is a problem, isn't it, Dr. Ahlberg? Because now your ability to catch up is even that much farther behind.
Their average amount of time that someone has a real problem and actually does something about it is approximately 7 years, but I personally see that be much longer in some cases.
So does that make it more difficult for you to properly fit them because they've had maybe more damage than they needed to?
More damage, but the brain has been deprived of those sounds for so long that it seems so unnatural when those are regained. So the longer someone has gone without them, the harder it is for them to feel confident about hearing those again.
When you have them fitted, and you mentioned that sometimes you'll turn it down even 40%, then how long typically before they begin to get up to full speed?
Everybody is so different, and really I think that how active someone is plays a big role in this. So if you're sitting around and there's not a lot of conversation and maybe you hear the refrigerator or the dishwasher, then the brain is trained to hear those sounds and they don't like it. But if you get fit with a hearing aid and you're going to work and you're talking to friends and you forget about it. And so your brain just naturally forgets that, hey, that sounds different. And now it's just concentrating on hearing speech and noticing that you're hearing conversations better. So
Okay.
everybody's different.
There is a good chance that someone's watching today and they're thinking, yeah, you know, I've been dealing with this, or my spouse has for the last several years. Do they just simply call you? Is there a need for a referral to come see you?
There are some insurances that do require a referral to cover the hearing test, but we get all that information and let people know before they make the appointment. But yeah, it's as easy as just coming in for a test and seeing how much of a problem there is, and then we can decide what to do about it.
Okay, so let's get you there. It's Ahlberg Audiology up in Cleveland. The phone number is 641-0956. You'll find her online at ahlbergaudiology.com. Great to see you.
Thank you, Julie.